everyone, welcome to the weekly update. The new koi are in and the video is about to begin. As everybody knows, live plants are my thing recently. I love all the cool live planted tanks and the plants that Kat's been getting in, the stuff you've been showing us when you come in. But right now I want to show you a customer's tank, a cool planted tank.
Hi everyone, my name is Elizabeth and I would like to share with you my 125 gallon freshwater aquarium. All of my supplies and fish, plants, and decor have been purchased at Fishy Business. Last year I decided to switch up what was in my tank and I purchased some geophagus when they were tiny little babies and they've colored up very nicely. I also have electric blue acaras, a pair of opaline gouramis, a pair of kissing gouramis. For little smaller fish in there, I have black ruby barbs, I have Odessa barbs, neon rosy barbs, yellow rosy barbs, some that I believe might be similar to the red barbs. Not exactly sure the name of those. I'd have to get with Kevin on that. I have one lone Cory left. He's a big old fellow that I've had for quite a while now. I also have 3 or 4, I believe it's 4 Bristol nose plecos right now that are hiding in here. I have 2 super reds and 2 of the regular brown ones with the gold spots when they're little. This piece of driftwood is amazing and it was a great find at Fishy Business. It's taken a little over a year for it to finally not float around in the tank. I still have it weighted down with rocks, as you can see, on the edges, and as well as a piece of slate in the top that's hidden by the plants. I have a Nubius in here because they're hardy and they withstand these guys trying to munch on them all the time. I find this very peaceful. It's new. I've never kept all of these different types of fish together before, and I enjoy coming home and watching my tank instead of regular TV. I refer to it as fish TV. Thank you for letting me share my tank with you this week. Y'all have a good one. Bye.
Hi, it's Kevin. I've got a lot of cool highlights to show you in freshwater, a lot of which were actually trade-ins that we got in from customers. We do allow customers to trade in fish whenever they no longer want them, as long as they're in good health, and we actually quarantine them for a few days before we sell them. But that's how we get some of our coolest fish, because we get some things that normally we can't get of that size in. And it's awesome when we do. I've got a lot of cool stuff to show you that came in on trade-in this week. Hi, this is one of my favorite fish. Sometimes we get so attached to the fish in the store, we actually name him. Kat actually named this guy. This is Mater, as in tomater. He is a flowerhorn cichlid. Flowerhorns aren't necessarily all going to have a huge head growth, not even if they're male. That is, males are more likely to have more head growth. That's true. It is a man-made hybrid. You're going to have results that vary on this. Mater has got awesome red coloring and a lot of turquoise inside of him. Doesn't have the best head growth, but he is a very nice showy fish and he eats like a pig. Here, Mater.
I love him.
And if you're not careful, he also eats fingers. This is my other pretty flowerhorn that I got. This is definitely a male with massive head growth. Such head growth, he has a hard time eating floating pellets sometimes. Derp, derp. We have had him for quite some time, but I haven't quite found the right name for him. Maybe you should comment a couple names we'll think about naming this guy, because I love this fish. He's awesome. Spectacular looking trade-in that I got this week. This is a good sized red-tailed catfish. He's still not full grown, but he is easily over a foot long, probably about 15 inches or so. Got a lot of girth to him. These guys do get very large. They can get in excess of 3 feet in the wild. In captivity, they commonly don't get that large, but they will need a very large tank, and they will need to be kept with very large tank mates so they don't become lunch. We got in some really cool looking white-lipped MDOKA cichlids. These are ones that you commonly don't see. They look a lot like a Haplochromis morai, but a little different, and as you can see, obviously, the white lips. I got these from a local breeder. These have never been juiced up with hormones or anything like that. That's their real color. Also in the same tank, also on trade-in, we got some really pretty large SYNODONTIS EUPTERUS that got traded in. These guys come from the same regions that the African cichlids do in the wild. Actually, they sometimes will trick the cichlids into surrogating their young for them. They actually put their babies' eggs in place of the cichlid eggs and do a switcheroo, so the cichlid raises their babies instead of their own. We also have in some larger African cichlids. A lot of you guys have been looking for something other than the small that we've been having constantly. We do have some good sized MBUNAS cichlids in this week, and a good selection as well. A good array of colors, and most of these guys are around 3, almost 4 inches. We also have in some albino red empress, which is another rarity that you don't commonly see. These guys are good size too. They're also about 3 to 4 inches. I also have a beautiful regular red empress in there. That is a male red empress. That is one of the most colorful African cichlids you can get. Beautiful fish. I got in some locally raised koi angelfish. These guys are beautiful. They're really good and healthy too. Came from a regular source that I've got. I only get my angelfish from local breeders. I don't order them from wholesalers because there is a virus that affects only angelfish, and if you're not careful, you could wind up with that misfortune. In case you missed it, yes, we have koi. We got lots and lots of koi. All shapes and sizes and many different colors. All real good and healthy ones that we got from a local source. They look beautiful, and we've got them at great sizes and great prices. We got in an awesome selection of different types of NEOCARIDINA shrimp. We got these from one of our plant vendors actually, and they look fantastic. We have so many different colors. We got blues, we got yellows, we got orange, we got red. We got things in between. These guys are easier to care for than some of the other freshwater shrimp, but water quality is imperative with any kind of invertebrate. Another really cool trade-in I got in this nice FRONTOSA. Pretty good, solid, chunky 3 to 4 inches, I would say. Great markings, good finish, and a good bit of blue coming out already. This is a Lake Tanganyika cichlid that usually comes in at a hefty price even as a small specimen. When I say small, I mean really small. Sometimes disappointingly small, but this guy has got good size. He's got great markings, and by doing fish trades, we managed to get in cool looking fish like this. Now, when you trade fish into us, it is not an even trade, no. It is kind of like a pawn shop. You get a portion of what we're gonna sell it for. That's the way we have to do that in order to guarantee the health of the fish once we sell it. We have in a good supply of some nice mystery snails. I had a ton of ivory mystery snails that got traded in recently, but they're all great and healthy. They usually don't even look this good when they come from our supplier, to be honest. They've been raised with TLC. But we've got other colors too, as well as gold and blue. We got these also on trade-in. Gotta love these local fish sources. But this is a hard to get fish right now. These are blue-eyed SAJICA cichlids. They are a small cichlid, seldom ever getting over 3 to 4 inches. They usually mix in well with large community fish to some semi-aggressive fish as long as they're not overly nippy. Also from a local source, we have in some great looking SARASA comets. These are extra large. These guys are in surplus of 6 inches. They have great finish and awesome color. Often I feel like they get overlooked in the pond keeping scheme because they are compatible with your koi, and they also do better in ponds of 400 gallons or less than a koi actually would in this area. They are less destructive on your water lilies and such, also putting another plus in their favor. So if you're catering more towards your plants in a pond, personally I would sway you in the direction of going with goldfish as opposed to the koi actually. We showed you some of the cool fish that we get from local sources. I've got some local sources that supply me constantly, like with angelfish and such. But also too, anytime you have a fish that you no longer want, or as long as it's in good health, bring it in. We'll take a look at it. We give a percentage in-store credit, not in cash, whenever you bring fish in on trade. But for some people who raise like swordtails or something like this could pay for your own habit. This could buy your food and stuff, so you don't have to keep buying food and supplies. But please, if you have anything that's in good health, please understand if I feel like it's not in the best of shape, we may reject some fish, but it's rare because we do have a quarantine system that we put them in. But we do give a percentage of what we're going to sell it for in-store credit. This prevents people from releasing fish into the wild, which is one of my big things, but do not bring me any large pacu, please and thank you. Have a good week.
Hi everyone, welcome to the saltwater portion of this week's weekly update. Again, for those of you that are not familiar with us, my name is Reagan and I'm the saltwater fish manager here at Fishy Business. So now I get to take you around with me and show you my top picks of the fish I have this week. Again, it is not even a tip of the hat of what we have here in the store. We have so many more things to show you. These are just going to be my top picks for what we have this week. So without further ado, let me take you along with me so I can point out my favorite fish that I have in stock for you guys this week.
Alright, so for the first time in a while, I was able to get in a long-nosed hawkfish. These guys are super adorable, and like all hawkfish, they actually don't have a swim bladder. So what they'll do is they'll just perch themselves on the rocks, and they'll move from rock to rock. They do swim a little bit in the water, moving around from spot to spot. But other than that, you won't see them swimming around your tank like the other fish, again, just because they don't have that swim bladder. These guys are carnivores, so meaty foods such as mysis shrimp, brine shrimp, things like that are going to be perfect for him. These guys also don't get all that large, so they can even fit in smaller tanks, and they don't add a huge bio load to your tank either. But like I said, I haven't gotten these guys in a while, but I finally have one, and he is absolutely beautiful. So I do always like to show them when I get them, just because they are still a little bit trickier for us to get. I do have a really beautiful flame angel in stock right now. This one's a great size, almost full grown, not going to get a whole lot bigger than what you see here. Flame angels add a lot of color and activity to your tank. Something about the angels though, as all angels, and I always say this, is that I do not deem them reef safe. Angels are known for eating coral and things like that in your tank, so not a reef safe fish. I will say though, some people do still put the flame angel in their reef tanks. That's just up to you and whether you want to take that risk, but I would recommend him going in a fish only, just so he doesn't end up eating some of your nice expensive coral. But they are a fairly hardy fish that do very well in the aquarium. So if you're looking for a smaller fish to add a lot of color and activity, your flame angel is going to be a great option. Also in this tank that I'm going to point out is the beautiful powder brown. I typically don't get in like powder browns, powder blues, or the white cheek tangs, just because they are not as hardy of a tang, but I do get them in every so often, and this powder brown is a perfect specimen. Beautiful white cheeks, beautiful yellow lining the top dorsal and the bottom fin, and a beautiful white tail. He is a great weight, has a beautiful light brown coloration, and he's going to choose to hide from me right now. But this powder brown is a very nice powder brown, already eating very well too. So if you would like to try one of the powder tangs, this powder brown is going to be the perfect one to try. Alright, so I'm going to show another tang. This is going to be the lemon tang. So the lemon tang is a mimic tang that do mimic things like the lemon peel angel. So their bodies are going to be shaped more like an angelfish. Tangs in general need seaweed about 3 times a week to add that veggie part to their diet. It just is an overall great food for them, since they are omnivores. They eat meat and plants, and it does help boost their immune system. This girl is a bright yellow. She is absolutely striking, will be the brightest fish in your tank. But other than that, she's not a very aggressive tang, so she would work well with other tangs and other fish in a reef. They are deemed reef safe, as most tanks are. Probably not going to touch your coral, but I haven't gotten in such a bright lemon tang before, so she will be a stunning addition to your reef. I was finally able to get in another male squareback anthias. So these guys are not, for some reason, not super easy to come by at the moment, but I was able to snag one for you guys, and this one is absolutely, I'm speechless because this fish is so perfect. Look at that beautiful fuchsia square on his side. He is absolutely incredible. Already has that nice top, what looks like a spike, but it's not, on the dorsal. Beautiful fuchsia square already, and lovely white and yellow markings on the tip of his tail. So like I said, well, like I'm going to tell you, these guys do very well in reef tanks. A lot of anthias are not a super hardy fish, but your male squareback is going to be one of the most hardy anthias that you can put in your tank. They are great for reefs because they are a very peaceful fish that is not going to mess with any inverts or coral either. They add so much color to your tank, and like I said, they're going to get along with everything. So a male squareback is definitely one of my top picks to add to any type of aquarium. I always love to show you my nice community tank back here, and it is fully stocked for you guys. It is fully stocked with a bunch of very awesome community, schooling, and nice filler fish. So I have a beautiful group of yellowtail damsels in here right now. For damsels, they are going to be your quote-unquote most peaceful damsel. They're a great filler fish, typically not super aggressive like all your other damsels. So they're a nice fish that people like to add, like I said, to be filler fish to add some activity. I also have the awesome monodactylus, the big silver guys, that are amazing schooling fish. They are super hardy. Monodactylus are probably one of the most hardy fish of all time ever, whether it be salt or freshwater, because technically these guys are brackish. So they can live in brackish water as well as a full marine ecosystem like what these guys are living in right now. They will add activity. They will add that nice silver shimmer when the light hits. They are a perfect fish that are, like I said, one of the most hardy fish you can possibly have. I also have a really nice female Wyoming white clown swimming right there in the middle. She is beautiful, and we do know for a fact that she is a female. Let's see what else. I have a couple of green chromis left swimming around up top. Green chromis are a really nice filler fish, great for reef tanks. All of these fish in here are great for reef tanks. The only one that is a hit or miss for the reef is going to be this beautiful Coronata saddle puffer. So it got the same diet and same personality as your like blue spot Fiji puffers, Valentini puffers, all of your saddleback puffers. This guy is just a much prettier variant in my opinion, because he's got those nice blues and yellows all over him, including around his eyes as well. Meaty foods for that guy. He is small, so mysis, brine, things like that he's going to be able to eat. But this is just a great example of what kind of community schooling fish that you can put swimming around your reef. This is an absolutely incredible animal. This is called your mystery wrasse. That's its name. It's a mystery wrasse. They are beautiful purple with golden on their face, their eyes, as well as their tail. That beautiful eye spot on the base of their tail that they use for camouflage. Mystery wrasses are not a very common wrasse. They are definitely more of a rarity. I have been trying to order a mystery wrasse for months, like at least 3 or 4 months, and I finally got one. This is the first time. These wrasses typically don't play well with others, so if you want to try the mystery wrasse, he should be the only wrasse in the tank. But they are they're a very spectacular and very a simply amazing wrasse that you don't see all that often, that I definitely can't get all that often. This is a pretty special thing to have one of these in the store. They are carnivores. Mysis shrimp for him is going to be what he's going to enjoy the most. I definitely stood back here yesterday all day watching him swim around because he is super cool to have in the store. He does have a little bit higher of a price point because he is a rare fish, but if you're looking for a showstopper, that will be the statement piece of your tank. A little cool new best friend, definitely the mystery wrasse is going to be for you. So I don't get these guys in very often, but they are super adorable. These guys are your orange spot blennies. So your orange spot blennies are also a good algae eater like your lawnmowers, and they typically have the same personalities as well. Definitely want them to be the only blenny in the tank as they will fight with other blennies. But your orange spot blenny is going to do a great job of eating any algae like hair algae you have in your tank. They are carnivores, so meaty foods for them. But other than that, as long as you don't put them with other blennies, this guy is not going to fight with anyone. He's not going to mess with anyone. He's going to hang out in the rocks and kind of stick to himself. So he is an excellent choice for reef tanks, especially if you have some algae, as he is a very hard worker as well.
Okay, so while ending the weekly update, I just want you guys to know that some of the tank specials that have been going on in March and April are still going on for a little while longer while we have them on the floor. So if you've been in the market for a new aquarium, this is the best time of the season to buy them based on the sales and the breaks that we get. So come in, upgrade, or start your hobby brand new.